Myself, Asutosh Sajaria. In the previous videos, you learned about basic form elements like input field. In the input field, you learned about text box, password field, and in text area, and radio button and checkbox. Then, in this video, we will learn about select box. And in the select box, we will particularly learn about drop-down list and list box, and also learn about different types of button like push button, submit button, and reset button.
Then next form elements we are going to see are drop down list and list box. For both drop down list and list box there is one element called select. We have already seen example of input elements and text area element. Then the next element is select. By using select element you can do drop down list and list box both. So I have already copied code of different uses of select element. So let me paste it here. So basically the input tag is open-ended tag and select tag is container tag. So we have to start the select tag and we have to end the select tag, and we have to apply name attribute. I have repeated blood group and hobbies example for drop down list and list box also. So for giving users of some options we have to write option element inside the select element. So the syntax of option element is in the tag you write option, then in attribute you provide some value a, and just like we have provided labels for blood groups A, B, AB and O, then for labels we have to write label inside the option tag. For same goes for A, B, AB and O, and same value is same as radio button and checkbox. And another difference from checkbox and radio button is if you want to by default select any option from drop down list or list box, you have to write selected equal to selected instead of checked equal to checked. So this is also different from radio button and checkbox. And this is drop down list. And to convert drop down list to list box, you just have to write multiple attribute in select tag. And let's see the output of drop down list and list box, and I will explain you further when you can use drop down list and list box. So let's see the output of drop down list and list. As you can see, this is drop down list and this is list box. Drop down list almost works like radio button. So you can only choose one value from given multiple values, and I have already written selected equal to selected in for value O. So O is by default selected. If you want to change from O to AB, you can select by pressing arrow key here and by selecting the value which you want to select. Let's say I want to select blood group AB, so I can select blood group AB, but by default O was selected. And same for list box, I have written selected equal to selected in reading and watching movies. So you can see that reading and watching movies is already selected, and I have not written selected equal to selected in games, so games is not selected. If I want to select games also, I have to press Ctrl key and then click on games, then games is also selected. If I want to unselect anything, then I just have to keep pressing Ctrl key and click on whichever value I want to unselect. Let's say I want to unselect reading, then I just have to press Ctrl key and click on reading. Same goes for watching movies and games. So let's select only one value, games. So these are the examples. So these are the example of drop-down list and list box. Drop-down list works same as radio button and list box works same as checkboxes. So these are the basic tags which are used to fetch data from user. Then the last thing I want to tell you is buttons. There are three types of buttons in HTML form: push button, submit button and reset button. And for the buttons also I have already copied code for push button, submit button and reset button. So this is the code for push button, submit button and reset button. For push button you have to write input in and type equal to button. For submit button you have to write type equal to submit, and for reset button you have to write type equal to reset. The push button has no default function, but its function is defined by the author in a script. This element would be used with either JavaScript or VB script to cause an action to take place. So by default push button has no use, but you can define push buttons using JavaScript or VB script or any client side scripting language. Then submit button. Submit button is used to send form's value to another page, and reset button will clear all the values selected by user in form. Let's see how push button, submit button and reset button looks. As you can see, the first one is push button, second one is submit button and third one is reset button. Let's say I have written student name as S name and written some password and written address. And if I press reset, then all the values I have entered or all the fields I have selected will be resetted to default values. And if I press submit button, then nothing happens because we haven't defined buttons using JavaScript or VB script. And whenever I enter the data in the fields and press the submit button, then all of the fields data will be sent to the script we have written in attribute action of form element. In the action attribute we have written hello.html, and let's select the method called get, and then I press submit data button, and then I press submit button. Then all of the values of the form will be passed to the hello.html file. Let's press the submit data button. As you can see, the all data I have entered in the form. In the sname field I have written student name, in the password I have written something, and in the address field I have written something. So all of the values will be passed to hello.html file using get method, and you can see the values passed in URL of hello.html file. Let's go back to the original form file. So all of the values I have entered will be passed to hello.html file when I press submit button. So that's it for basic form tags.
So that's it for this video. Hope you have learned about basic form elements like input field, text area, password, radio button, checkbox, drop down list and list box and different types of buttons.